Supervisor Ryan, can you hear me?
Well, Supervisor Ryan can, and Matt Ryan can, Lindsay Daly. Hey, Lindsay.
Hey, good morning. I see
Good
you
morning.
too. Your camera's working and your mic's working.
Oh, cool. Yeah, going from down in Mount Air to coming up here, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
While
I
we're
figured.
also going through changes from Sunlink to what is it, Optimum or whatever they call themselves. Yeah,
Okay.
but it works. Okay, that's cool.
Good. You're good.
Anybody join in yet, or are we probably a little?
Yes, we have Supervisor Begay is here.
Okay.
And Chair Horseman is here.
Oh, neato. Neato, peachy Q.
Supervisor Begay's mic and camera are working. And
Yay.
Chair Horseman, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes,
Perfect. Okay. We have a quorum.
I beat Matt to it.
I am just
Good
amazed.
morning, Matt.
I'm just assuming the winds aren't blowing. You're not standing on a hilltop with your phone like this, you know, trying to find that coverage. Good morning. How are we doing? 8:53.
Supervisor Fowler, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning.
Perfect. And we can hear you.
So Lindsay, it looks like we have Supervisors Begay and Ryan.
We also have Supervisor Fowler. We're just missing Vice Chair Vasquez.
All right, can you, and I know we're going to open and probably go into an executive session, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
So maybe we should see if we can get him on so we can
Okay,
start at hopefully 9.
Yeah, let me give them a text. Make sure that they don't join the exec teams link too. Vice Chair Vasquez is here.
All
So we've got
right,
5
good
members.
Good morning.
good morning, Vice Chair. And good to see all of the board members who are here this morning. And today is Tuesday, it's May 2nd. This is a notice of a special board meeting and a regular meeting of the County Board of Supervisors. And our first order of business, before we entertain the possibility, well, a couple of possibilities. So I'll just start with first order of business is a call to order. And my name is Patrice Horseman. I'm the chair of the Board of Supervisors and the supervisor for District 1. District 2.
Good morning, everyone. Jeronimo Vasquez, Supervisor District 2 and current Vice Chair.
In District 3.
Matt Ryan, District 3. Good morning.
Good morning. District 4.
Good morning, District 4 Supervisor Judy Begay.
And District number 5. Supervisor Fowler, I see you, so I know you're here. You may be getting some technical difficulties. If somebody can reach out to Supervisor Fowler and see if we can help. And in the meantime, we do have a quorum, and I think Supervisor Fowler is just having some technical difficulties. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed. We need, before we go forward, we need to resolve as the Flood Control District Board of Directors. Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Begay, second by Supervisor Ryan. All those in favor of resolving as the Flood Control District Board of Directors signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It is unanimous. We are now the Flood Control District Board of Supervisors. And with that, members of the board, we have got a recommendation to go into executive session. This has been made through our legal counsel to go into executive session for consultation with our attorney to consider our position and instruct our attorneys regarding possible settlement to avoid eminent domain litigation and to intensify the use of the permanent drainage easement recorded for Coconino County Assessor Parcel Number 301-51-002. This request to go into executive session is made pursuant to ARS 38-431.03 and forward. And at this time, members of the board, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session for this discussion. Do I have such a motion?
So move.
I
This is
have
Second.
a motion by Supervisor Fowler, who has joined us. And do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair. All those in favor of
Aye.
going into executive session signify by saying aye.
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 All right, members of the board, we are going to go into executive session. It's a unanimous vote. Please leave our open public meeting. And I believe that they have sent us a executive session link. So let's leave now and let's get into the executive session. Thank you.
Yourself? Thank you. I'll be with you soon.
I see Supervisor Begay and Supervisor Fowler, and do we have Supervisor Ryan? And
Madam Chair, I'm here. Thank you.
yes, thank you, Supervisor Fowler. Matt and Geronimo? Lindsay, have you seen Matt or Geronimo? See Geronimo. We're just waiting for, oh, we're waiting for Matt. I just talked to him, so I know he's here.
He is on his way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Geronimo, just an FYI, we've got a dog at the vet. And so if I get a call from the vet, I may ask to excuse myself for a few minutes and ask you to take over running the meeting.
Sorry, having a hard time to unmute myself. That's fine, no problem.
Thank you. And
Ta-da.
all right, here we are. We are back, and members of the public, we are now out of executive session. And before we start our regular meeting, I need to ask for a motion to resolve back as the Board of Supervisors. Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vice Chair. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Ryan. All those in favor say aye.
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 Unanimous. We are now the Board of Supervisors. Matt, I get brownie points for that. I remembered, okay?
That's because I didn't mess you up.
All right, it is now 10 o'clock, and members of the board and members of our community, it is a regular session we have that we are going to proceed on. And our first item of business for our regular board meeting of Tuesday, May 2nd, is the call to order. And so my name is Patrice Horstman. I am the chair of the Board of Supervisors and the supervisor for District 1. District 2.
Good morning, everyone. Jeronimo Vasquez, Supervisor District 2 and current Vice Chair.
And District 3.
Good morning, everybody. Matt Ryan, District 3.
And District 4.
Good morning, everyone. Judy B. Gay, District 4 Supervisor.
And District 5.
Hello, Madam Chair. This is Lena Fowler. Thank you, District 5 Supervisor. I'm here.
Thank you, Supervisor Fowler. And we are proceeding. Our next item of business is to honor our nation through the Pledge of Allegiance. And with that, our clerk will put up the flag and the pledge. And for those that can, please stand and please join us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, we are back on, and now, members of the board, is time for the call to the public. Members of the public, now is the time for you to be heard by the Board of Supervisors and join us in our meeting. If you have questions, concerns, or comments you'd like to make, now is the time. We ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes. And of course, this is a public meeting, so we ask that you be professional and respectful. And with that, and we would love to hear from you this morning. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to the clerk, Lindsay, and have Lindsay explain how you can join us for our virtual meeting here this morning. So Lindsay.
Thank you, Chair Horstman. At this time, if anyone would like to make a comment, you can hit the raise hand icon that will appear at the bottom of your screen. If you hover towards the bottom, it looks like a hand and says raise hand. If you click on that, that will raise your hand and notify us that you would like to speak. If you join the meeting by telephone, you can hit *9, and that will raise your hand and notify us that you would like to speak.
Very good. So members of the public, now is your time. Let's hear from you.
And we have no hands raised, Chair Horstman.
All right. I appreciate that. And I'm going to give a second call to the public. If you would like to join us, now is your time.
And there are no hands raised.
All right. With that, we're going to move on our agenda and get past our call to the public. And our next item of business is a proclamation. And this is a consideration, possible action to approve the proclamation designating May 2023 as an Asian American Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And with that, and to introduce this item is our Human Resources Director, Erica Philpott. Good to see you this morning, Erica.
Good morning, Chair Horseman, members of the board. Very excited to be with you this morning to bring forward this proclamation for your consideration for Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Month for the month of May. And Yanzi is here to read the proclamation. And following the proclamation, I have just a couple of events to mention if there's time.
Absolutely. We look forward to that. Yancy, thank you so much for being with us this morning, and please proceed on the reading of this proclamation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Proclamation designating May 2023 as Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander AANHPI Heritage Month. Whereas the Coconino County Board of Supervisors joins residents and the local governments across the county and celebrating May 2023 as Asian American Native Hawaii and the Pacific Islander Heritage Month, recognizing the history and the achievements of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and the Pacific Islanders who continue to shape our nation. And whereas Coconino County reflects on the numerous contributions, vibrant cultures, and the deep heritage of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and the Pacific Islander communities. And whereas Coconino County recognizes that advancing leaders from the Asian American, Native Hawaii, and Pacific Islander communities through opportunity is crucial to promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion within our community. And whereas Coconino County embraces the strengths, contributions, and the legacies of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and the Pacific Islanders who have helped build our county and unite America in each succeeding generation with invaluable contributions to culture, the art, law, science, technology, sports, and public service as educators, healthcare providers, first responders, and other essential workers. And whereas Coconino County Board of Supervisors recognizes the first presidential proclamation, Proclamation 4650, issued by President Jimmy Carter on March 28, 1979, for Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Week, the expansion of Asian Pacific American Heritage Week to 1 month in May 1990 by George H.W. Bush, and the permanently designated month of May each year as Asian Pacific American Heritage Month by Congress on October 23, 1992. And whereas Coconino County takes pride in celebrating the achievements of Vice President Kamala Harris, the first person of South Asian descent to hold the office of a Vice President, who sets an example for young people in our community to follow, including members of Asian American, Native Hawaii, and the Pacific Islander communities, and the Asian American, Native Hawaii, and the Pacific Islander women in particular. And whereas Coconino County remembers the victims of the 2021 spa shooting on March 16, 2021 in Atlanta, Georgia, along with all other Asian American and the Pacific Islanders who have been impacted by anti-Asian violence during the pandemic and throughout history, and joins in the fight against the xenophobic rhetoric, as well as systematic barriers to economic and health equity, educational attainment, and the personal safety encountered by Asian American, Native Hawaii, and the Pacific Islander communities. And whereas Coconino County is committed to building a nation in which every person, regardless of who they are, where they come from, and what they look like, as an equal opportunity to prosper and grow. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Coconino County Board of Supervisors do hereby designate May 2023 as Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and the Pacific Islander Month to honor, recognize, and celebrate with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities, thereby strengthening us as a county, state, and a nation forever. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the reading of that very important proclamation and reminding us that our strength is in our diversity. Really appreciate that. And I know that others will like to make some comments, and I know Erica has some other information to provide to us. So Yancy, before we proceed and before I forget to make the motion, I'm going to ask that our board entertain a motion to, in fact, approve the proclamation that was just read to us and to designate May 2023 as Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve, Madam Chair.
Motion by Supervisor Ryan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Fowler. All in favor of the proclamation and designating May 2023 as Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, please signify by saying aye.
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 All right, it is unanimous. And Yancy, do you have anything further you would like to say, or I'll turn this over to Erica and then I'll turn this over to the board. Anything further?
I just want to say I'm so happy and glad to be part of the county. So I will continue to work hard for the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you for your reading of the proclamation. And Erica, I'm going to turn it over to you to let us know the exciting events that you've got planned for us.
Thank you, Chair Horseman, members of the board. The first event is actually today. We have a series of lunch and learns from noon to 1 throughout the month. And today's event is on Anna Mae Wong, the first Asian American movie star. And on this Thursday, May 4th, we're going to have an in-person and virtual hybrid event with Judge Brian Furuya on Japanese internment camps. So that will be in the board chambers at the admin building as well as online. On May 9th, Yancy will be back and she's going to speak about choosing Flagstaff and give a lunch and learn on that. So that will be fantastic. On May 11th, we're going to have a lunch and learn on Hawaii's Last Queen. And on May 16th, there will be a TED Talk style presentation from Priyanka Chopra and Indriya Nui on breaking barriers and engaging billions. On May 18th, there'll be a TED Talk from George Takai. On May 23rd, HR Assistant Director Krista Cedillo will be here with Bula Vinaka speaking about Fiji. May 25th, our lunch and learn will be on Executive Order 9066 during World War II. And on May 30th, we'll talk about Japanese incarceration during World War II. This time for this month, all of the lunch and learns are going to have one link. So our participants won't have to figure out which link for which day, regardless of which lunch and learn it is within the month of May, it will all be on one link and all from noon to 1. And if people are interested in receiving that calendar invite, they can reach out to Arena Contreras and she'll be happy to send them the calendar invite so they don't miss it on their calendar. Sometimes if things aren't on our calendar, it's hard to remember to get to them. And so I want to thank all of the diversity committee members for their hard work in planning this month. Thank you so much.
Erica. Sounds like some very important and very informative meetings coming up. So thank you for your hard work and getting that all together. And I'm going to turn this over to members of the board. My colleagues, do you have comments you'd like to make? Supervisor Begay.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I want to thank Erica for bringing the proclamation to us and then also reading it too. So it is very important. I think as people of color, you know, we are no different than anyone else. And And I know that, sometimes we're all treated differently only because of the color of our skin and probably the language, because we can converse in that very well. And it shouldn't be like that. There's so many things out there that hinders a lot of progress in certain areas, just basically being there and supporting everyone in need, no matter who is on the face of this earth. And so I just want to say that, we can achieve and be successful, in as any other individual in the world, as native people, and our heritage and culture is very important to us, and it does take us a long ways. And so I just want to say that we all need to fight against the barriers to economic and health equity and educational attainment and personal safeties that we all encounter. So I just want to say thank you so much for bringing this proclamation, and I fully support the proclamation as read. And so thank you so much, for bringing it to the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Begay. Other supervisors? Just
In fact,
go ahead,
yeah.
Supervisor Ryan.
Thanks, Madam Chair, and great job, Jansen. It was like running those runs that we do out there. It was a long resolution, but a well-written resolution, and really appreciate you reading it and your commitment to the county. We're fellow runners out there, although I haven't been getting out for a while. And well said, Judy. We do need to celebrate our diversity and make sure everybody has access. And so I take pleasure in being a part of this resolution. I have a little bit of an affinity in some ways. My son studied overseas for a number of years, and brought me through different travels and helped me as I had to navigate my own experience. And true pleasure, but here's a chance that we have with this resolution to acknowledge our own diversity within our communities. And so thank you for this. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other comments, members of the board? Vice Chair.
Yes, thank you. First off, I'd like to start off by thanking the staff for bringing this proclamation to us. It's always exciting to be able to recognize some of the diversity in our county and recognize different groups and their contributions to Coconino County. So thank you for highlighting Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islanders contributions to Coconino County. I think that's really important. Sometimes we forget about other groups in our county and what they've done. And so this acknowledgement is that opportunity to celebrate all those contributions and look at just the diversity among people in our county. And so really appreciate you bringing this proclamation to us. There's some important history here in Flagstaff and in Coconino County that have been contributions that sometimes get overlooked and sometimes get forgotten. Talking like the presentation about the internment camps. Those are things that really happened here in our county and affected our citizens. And so it's important that we don't forget that history. So thank you for bringing this proclamation to us.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Other comments, members of the board? Supervisor Fowler.
Yes, thank you. It's just amazing how we have our history, where there's a really important movie that's coming out that is just going to reveal more of the tragic history that the Native people have, and also the Asian history in our country as minority. Just the tragic history, that the way we've been treated and what's been taken away from us. It's just now today, this is the way we recognize and try to, remember our past and also move forward and have a more positive and life. And here we are. We're in a whole different time, and just the And it happened right here in our own county in 1943. The Loop Citizen Isolation Center in 1943 was open. Just the tail end of, putting the Japanese into camps to isolate them. Fear is what drives all of these crazy decisions that have made and is still here today. Fear of what of people, and the Loop camp was there just part of 1943. It was the ending of that era of isolating, and here we are, and it's on tribal land and tribes. In 1943, that's when the code talkers language was being used. 19 with the World War II, and here they are, and here it's a boarding school era too. And the boarding school, we can't even use our language, and we can't use they're trying to strip us of who we are, and that's the treatment of minority people. If we look different, then that iron fist came down with all the policies and all the laws, but it was just the fear of us. So I really appreciate these recognitions. I want to thank the ICSHAR director Erica and the team there, and to say that we have real history that we have dealt with. We have real trauma from it. We have still who we became was as a result of those, and a lot of that social ill is still there. Historical trauma, the learned helplessness as a society is still there. So I just want to recognize and just want to say that, but today we got to move forward, and here we are working in the county. We're trying to change, create better lives for others as well. So I just want to thank you for reading this, and just thank the county for these recognitions that are coming through. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Fowler, and thank you, colleagues. Xenophobia and hatred based on hate or based on race and nationality certainly are extremely un-American values. And I think that we as the Board of Supervisors and throughout Coconino County have done what we can to acknowledge the bigotry, the hatred, the discrimination, and basically make sure that does not happen here, and to really see that our diversity is in fact our strength. And, we talk about the internment camps, including, which I found out just recently, Supervisor Fowler, even occurred here in Arizona, and with the Loop Isolation Center. And, it just didn't happen a long time ago. It's happening now. We saw it during COVID, and the hatred and the vilification of a race and a nation because of COVID and statements that were made. And it's really great that we, as Coconino County, have these proclamations and stand up, acknowledge the atrocities, acknowledge the discrimination and bigotry, and basically say, not on our watch. So thank you. And thank you, Yancy, for coming and reading that great proclamation, and for Erica for the wonderful events that you are having here for the enlightenment and edification of all of us here in Coconino County. I really appreciate it, and appreciate an opportunity to once again acknowledge a very, very important group that helped to make us great. So thank you so much. Any other comments? Any other members of the community, or I should say of the board or county manager? Any other comments on this? Seeing none, we'll go ahead. We'll move along. And thank you again very much for joining us this morning. All right, we're moving on with our agenda, discussion and possible action, consideration and possible action to approve resolution 2023, naming the Tuba City Election Office the Alta Edison Native American Outreach Center. Again, acknowledging and recognizing the importance of diversity and the important contribution diversity has presented and provided here in Coconino County. So this is very exciting for all of us that knew, many who worked, and many who were friends and colleagues of Alta Edison. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to our recorder, Patty Hansen. I do not see Patty. I'm going to turn this over to the deputy recorder, Donna Kasner. Is that right, Donna?
Yes, Chair Horseman, I will be reading the resolution today. And I am very happy, Chair Horseman and the board, to bring this to you today. I started working for Coconino County in 2004, and Alta had already been working for over 20 years for the county at that point. She was with our recorder's office for over 40 years. And sadly, we lost her to COVID back in 2021. But we want to recognize her accomplishments. And I do want to mention that we will have a formal celebration of this resolution a week from today on May 9th from 11 to noon at the recorder's office lobby. And I'm happy to hear that you all will be there to celebrate. So this is resolution number 2023-14, a resolution of the Board of Supervisors of Coconino County, Arizona, approving the naming of the Tuba City Elections Office to the Alta Edison Native American Outreach Center. Whereas Alta Edison Dene was born in 1957 in Sand Springs, Arizona, near the Colorado River in the Navajo Nation, and was of the Deer Spring clan, born for the Tangle clan. Her maternal grandparents were of the Towering House clan, and her paternal grandparents were of the Red Running into the Water clan. And whereas Alta began working in the Coconino County Recorder's Office in 1979 and was instrumental in creating the county's Native American elections outreach program to serve the unique needs of the 6 tribes in Coconino County. And whereas this program has provided culturally sensitive and appropriate civic education, voter engagement, registration, and participation over the 40 years of her incredible tenure, thereby promoting and preserving the voting rights of historically marginalized communities in Arizona. And whereas seeing the need to reach Indigenous communities in a more effective way, Alta worked collaboratively to develop the Navajo Language Terminology Guide, a working document that clarifies elections terms in the Dene language to help Dene voters to this day. And whereas Alta overcame considerable challenges over her lifelong tenure as an elections worker to provide excellent election services in rural communities of Arizona, despite the absence of rural addressing and maps, conducting voter registration drives door to door in outdoor community markets, and was a steadfast and celebrated fixture in the communities she served. Whereas, because of her steadfastness and exemplary leadership, Alta and her team were nationally recognized in 2019 with the U.S. Election Assistance Commission's 2019 Clearinghouse Award for Innovation in Elections. And whereas Alta continued her work despite the unprecedented global pandemic in the 2020 election cycle, conducting drive-through voter registration drives in tribal communities to ensure every Arizonan's right to vote. And whereas the record-breaking success of and participation in the 2020 elections could not have happened without the dedication of elections heroes like Alta, who faithfully served the residents of Coconino County and the citizens of Arizona, and was truly a dedicated public servant, an honored member of the Coconino County family, and a valued part of Arizona's elections team. And whereas Alta Edison did the majority of her voter outreach work from the Tuba City Elections Office during election times, and thus it is fitting to recognize her many accomplishments and her outstanding commitment and dedication to Coconino County by naming the Tuba City Elections Office the Alta Edison Native American Outreach Center. And now therefore be it resolved in consideration of the Board of Supervisors' authority to name county-owned buildings, the board hereby approves the naming of the Tuba City Elections Office as described herein.
Thank you, Donna, for that reading of the proclamation and for the recognition of this very inspiring colleague here in Coconino County. Members of the board, in keeping with what our pattern, I'm going to ask for a motion and on the resolution, and then we'll have some comments from Donna and others, including the board. So with that, do I have a motion to approve resolution 2023-14, naming the Tuba City Election Office the Alta Edison Native American Outreach Center? Do I have a motion?
So move.
Motion by Supervisor Begay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Fowler. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Hi.
It is unanimous. And with that, Donna, I'm going to turn it to you first to see if you have any comments, further comments you'd like to make. And thank you for reading the proclamation, and then I'll turn it over to the board. So Donna.
Thank you, Chair Horseman and members of the board. This is very exciting. We do want to, now we have a permanent memory of Alta every time we refer to the office that she worked from for many, many years. And I invite everyone again to the celebration next week on May 9th and hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Donna. And we are planning to be there. We have rearranged our budget meetings to make sure that we're all there in honor of Edda. So thank you. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Members of the board, I'd like to turn it over to you first for comments on this. And any comments, members of the board? So, Vice Chair Vasquez, I'll turn it to you first.
Sure, I'll go first. Thank you, Madam Chair. This is it's exciting to name a building after someone who had such a great impact on our elections. And so I didn't have the pleasure of working with her, but I've heard a lot about her and the work that she's done. And I'm just really excited and honored to be able to name a building after her. So that way, moving forward, her legacy continues. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair. Others? Supervisor Ride.
I was going to defer to Lena and to Judy, but Madam Chair, I have had the opportunity over the years to interact with Alta, see the work that she's done, and for everything that was said earlier about how do we provide the opportunity for everybody, the opportunity to vote, which had not been used very much in past generations and was prohibited for a long time. There was a key element here. And Alta was an individual that really worked hard to assure that our Native American communities in particular, she went beyond them in the work that she did, but in particular, had that opportunity, fostered that opportunity, and it is really a really important opportunity to go ahead and memorialize her. Not only that, but for everybody that has worked with her, she has just been a piece of the Coconino County family, and we all went through hard times as COVID came through. her loss was a very big loss. And I appreciate that we are memorializing her in this way. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Supervisor Ryan. Supervisor Begay.
Yes, Madam Chair. Again, thank you, Donna, for bringing this forward and reading the resolution. It really means a lot to me, and I think we have people that we need to recognize and be within our county who are there for the people and work with the people and using their experiences and also their expertise in carrying out and helping the rural communities and others, you know, that they serve with any department. So I just want to say thank you for bringing this up, and with her consistency, you know, she and then showing her exemplary leadership, you know, she personally, you know, they were recognized in the 2019 Election Assistant Commission 2019 Clearinghouse Award for innovation in election, and that speaks for itself. And I think that, you know, this is a well-deserved resolution 20-2314. And also she was, like I said, she was a truly dedicated public servant, you know, and with this resolution, you know, she was also a very honored member and a valued part of the Coconino County program. So I just want to say thank you again. And this is where, you know, I think, you know, it's well, you know, I really support this resolution and being out there as a community to work together to really memorialize, you know, people's efforts and accomplishments here within the county. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Supervisor Begay. And I'll make some comments just as well. I mean, she's been at the county recorder's office since 1979. She's been there 40 years. She was an integral part of our county recorder's office. And, you know, what she did in terms of creating the Native American Election Outreach Program, which served all 6 tribes here in Coconino County. I mean, that's pretty incredible and speaks for her dedication to make sure that the right to vote was preserved for all of us in Coconino County, including those in our most marginalized communities. And this is a recognition that's, you know, maybe a little overdue. And so glad we're going forward and doing this. And it's certainly an appropriate honor and recognition of such an integral part of our team and our family here in Coconino County. So thank you, Donna, for bringing this forward and reading this resolution. Really appreciate it and look forward to the wonderful event coming up there at the recorder's office. Other comments, members of the board?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Supervisor, County Manager.
I think Supervisor Fowler was going to go first, and then I'll follow Supervisor Fowler.
Very good. Supervisor Fowler, please.
Yes, thank you. This is the legacy of Native vote, the Native Americans' right to vote. You know, it's back even in the 1800s. There was discussion whether they could become citizens and therefore a right to vote. Now, they were not foreigners; they're here. But what do we do with them? So, in 1924, Native Americans became citizens of the United States. With that came the voting rights. But the states themselves had to say, yes, you can vote. Native people in the state can. After going to court is when, in 1948, is when Arizona, Native people in Arizona gained the right to vote. And with that gain the right to vote, it was up to the counties to really educate them and provide that service. And many of the counties did not provide that. And so it was still a challenge until the 1970s. So it's really a testament to Coconino County to hire Alta to really say that we would like the Native people to vote and we want to have them participate. Look at all people. And Alta took on this job and just made it her own. She's very energetic, speaks Navajo, can explain and can articulate in Navajo, and that was the key, and that's the key. But she treated everyone the same, whether you're Native or not, and that's it's just amazing the work that she and Ray and the team have done. And she, in the later years, yes, she operated out of Tuba City, but prior to that, we were registering we be driving and we just start registering people at ceremonies, at some kind of gathering. We go there and we register people. We just sit there and we registered everybody. And that's how I worked with her. And I want to thank her family for their support of her work, because that meant to be driving out there, meeting people. And that was a lot of her work was really out in the field, and that's how she got the education out. And they had not the county dedicated itself to the Native American voting rights, then I don't, we may be we would be in a different place of voter registration with Native people. But the county decided that they're going to hire someone to be able to accomplish this mission. So I want to thank the county as well as Alta and her family. Really enjoyed working with her. We're gonna all miss her. And I think that just our meetings about her naming the Tuba City office in her honor, I think is a really good idea. We had meetings about that. And then, this voting rights, we can't take it lightly. Right now, we're back to fighting for it again. Today, that's why our birth certificate, the late birth certificate, is so important. We're in a state where birth is really important. We have the Native Americans that do not have birth certificate because they still have to go through the late birth certificate. We have to gain that citizenship. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to gain, receive benefits that you are eligible for if you don't. I think there's various ways that there are great challenges to Native Americans and other minorities just because of who we are and the laws that are put in place. A lot of them are legal opinions as well. And we have to be there and vigilant and being able to work on the policies to change laws like we did with the birth certificate. Instead of having 7 documents, you can have 2 documents, and then you can register to vote also at the same time using the tribal affidavit. So anyway, this being able to vote is so important, and I just really am very happy and that we are honoring Alta. These are changers. These are, the creating positive change in the community, and not just within the small community, maybe in the small community, but have a greater ripple effect. It's just amazing. So thank you, and really thank the county elections and recorder's office for bringing this to us. I'm really honored to be supporting this, and happy that the naming of the office in Tuba City is going to happen. So I want to thank those that are behind this. And Candy Owens, I don't see her on here. Candy, I met with her, and Candy and I, and back then even Helen Hutchins. I remember working with Helen Hutchins back then. You know, we were able to register the most people in Coconino County. Actually, it was the state 2 years in a row. And so, anyway, just really happy that we continue to work and honor such positive changers, community changers like Alta, and want to thank her family again. Thank you.
Yes. Madam Chair.
Supervisor Fowler, County Manager, please.
Thank you very much. Just want to offer a few comments, very short comments. Sue Brown and Esther Musta, my team. I had the honor and the privilege of working with Alta, although there were days when I think I was working for Alta. And for all of us that knew Alta, she was the kind, and I see her coworkers.
Yeah, that's so true.
We all knew that there were days when, you know, we would actually get our marching orders from Alta. And that's because it was just represented, indicative of her commitment to the position, the role, the privilege of serving county voters in the way she did. She was a very key input whenever we did the pre-clearance, when we filed the Voting Rights Act information for the Department of Justice. She was a key input on the comments and the narrative relative to our efforts to ensure that all access was made available, physical, language, you name it, handicap, all of the pieces that were part of the voter experience were very important to Alta. And so geography had no boundary. I mean, she would be everywhere. She would go on weekends. She would, any chance she had an opportunity to register voters. And having worked with her, with Helen Hudgens, with Candy Owens, and of course now with Representative, or excuse me, Recorder Hansen, has been an honor and privilege. But Alta will always be remembered for her diligence and her commitment. So again, it's our honor to participate in this conversation today. If I could very quickly ask Sue Brown and then Sue Musta, our Elections Director, to make some quick comments too.
Thank you, Madam Chair, County Manager Pru. I just wanted to add what everyone has said about Alta is absolutely the truth. I worked with her for nearly a bit over 20 years, and she was a formidable coworker, absolutely formidable. But I just wanted to make sure folks were also aware that while elections clearly was very much first in her heart, her passion for service didn't end with elections either. She was very much a part of her community in a number of other ways, including her advocacy for women who were victims of domestic violence. And she had a strong participation in several committees related to that. And I just wanted to acknowledge that as well. She was an advocate for representation, and it didn't matter if it was elections or it was other matters. She was absolutely as fierce an advocate as we all came to know her as a coworker and a friend. So just this is as much earned, and so happy that the day is here that we can give her this honor. Eslier?
Thank you, Sue, and thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the recorder for bringing this forward. Alta was an incredible person. She was very proud of being Navajo, and she cared deeply and took pride in that, and she took care on other people. I remember when I was a election day technician at the inscription house, and she drew me a map of how to get to the inscription house, and that was the care. I thought that I was special, but that was the care and attention that she paid to everybody that volunteered for election, and spoke greatly about how she saw everybody as a family, and her dedication is very much with us, and she sets like very high standards of how we do our outreach and the work in our Native American communities, and we're very, very proud to have been part of the journey with her. So thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments, and for the colleagues that have worked with Alta know how what an incredible team member she was for us here in Coconino County. So any other comments, questions, members of the board? Otherwise, this is just, I think this might be the first time that we have named a building or an office after a county employee. And so this is a great day and a wonderful resolution. So thank you, Donna. And please, hugs to everybody there in the recorder's office. We know they work so closely with Alta. She touched many people's lives, but certainly her immediate family was that in the recorder's office. So please, obviously it is a day of celebration, but it's also an understanding of grief we all suffer because of her loss. So please give our deepest thoughts to and condolences to the recorder's office.
Thank you. Will do.
All right, members of the board, any other comments, or we are going to move along. We've had two extremely important proclamations and emotional proclamations for us this morning. So we're going to move on to our consent agenda, and members of our public consent agendas are considered by the Board of Supervisors, and there are matters that are more ministerial or administrative in nature. They can be handled through one motion and one vote, and they are done without discussion by the board. However, we, the board, have the authority and the availability of removing an item from our consent agenda for individual discussion and, of course, individual motion and vote thereafter. So at this time, I'm going to ask my colleagues if there are items on the consent agenda that they would like to remove for discussion. Colleagues, any requests?
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, Matt.
So Madam Chair, item 8, I do wish to separate, but after we take a motion, there are a couple that I do want to comment on after we take a motion. That'll expedite our process, but it'll provide an opportunity to give comments too.
Well, they may expedite the process, but I'm not sure that that's appropriate. I'll ask legal counsel, or if we should go ahead and remove those items that you would like to make comments on.
Chair Horstman, I recommend that they be removed from the consent agenda to allow Supervisor Ryan to make his comments.
All right, thank you. So any other ones you'd like to have removed, Matt?
Okay, if you want to do it that way, Madam Chair, and we've done it that way many times in the past, but I would like to remove 8, 9, 12, and 5. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
We'll do that. Any other items removed?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I'd like to have item 7, 10, 7 and 10, I think, the other one, I think we got 9 too. Okay, 7, 9, and 10.
Okay, any other items?
Oh, 7, 9, and 11, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, 7,
9,
9, 11, and how about 10?
let's see. No.
All right. All right, any other items to remove? There aren't too many left, but any other items to remove from the consent agenda?
And then number 15.
All right. Any other items? Gone, members of the board. We do have consent agenda item number 4, 6, 10, 13, and 14, having removed items 5, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, and 15 from the consent agenda. Is that correct, Lindsay? Did I get that correct?
Correct, Chair Horstman. I have 5, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, and 15. Did I miss 10?
No, 10 was a mistake. So that's in.
That's what I have as well.
Madam Chair, we need to pull staff over to respond to questions. So give us a moment.
Sure. And at this point, however, I will entertain a motion to accept consent agenda items 4, 6, 10, 13, and 14. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Supervisor Fowler. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Begay. All those in favor of accepting consent agenda items 4, 6, 10, 13, and 14, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, very good. I think it's unanimous. Thank you all. So, members of the board, I know the county manager would like to have an opportunity to move people over. So should we why don't we take a 5-minute break and we'll do a little bio break and we'll be back. Will that work, county manager?
Sure, that's fine. We're ready now.
Thank you.
Margaret, are you there? Can you hear me, Margaret? I'm pulling you over. There you go.
Thanks, Lindsay. It looks like we have Cynthia as an attendee for number 13. Christopher and Nate for number 14. And I don't see Jay right now.
Thank you, Andy. That helps. Yeah, I don't see Jay Smith or Chris Pastors, but I've got
I'll read the staff report
Christopher.
for 9.
If you can accept the promotion, Christopher and Nate.
And Steve, I'm happy to explain 9 if you wish.
I'm just going to read the staff report.
Okay.
Thanks. And we don't have 13 or 14 were not separated, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so they should be okay. They should have been.
12 and 15, but not 13 and 14. They went with consent.
Okay, so we're good on Public Works and Parks and Recreation, except for 15, we'll need Public Works to respond to that.
Okay, thank you. Was number 10 pulled for the zoning inspector?
No, it was not.
Okay, thanks, Sue.
Yeah, that's good.
Is my microphone working on Zoom?
Yeah, you're good, Nate.
Thanks, Nate. But number 15, be ready. Thank you.
Cheyenne, I see you're here. Did you want to test your microphone?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you.
Oh, I am, yeah, County Manager, are we ready?
Yes, we are.
Okay, good. Sorry, I had the mute on and I kept saying County Manager.
Oh, I didn't see your lips. So I was,
Couldn't read my lips, huh?
we're all
All right, good. Then I think we're going forward, and members of the board, we have removed some items from our consent agenda for individual discussion. The first one is consideration of possible action to approve the funding agreement with Ponderosa Fire District, providing $5,177.50 or 57 cents from District 3 Community Initiative funds to the Ponderosa Fire District to assist with the cost of an address sign. And so I'm going to turn this over to Supervisor Matt Ryan, who is our supervisor in District 3 and has pledged his CI money for this. So Supervisor Ryan.
So, Madam Chair, the only note that I wanted to make associated with this is its good intentions. And it is, we created a addressing ordinance way back when in the Parks area. They didn't have addresses. At the time, we had fire issues as well. Part of helping with the addressing ordinance with our various fire departments, but also with our sheriff's office, is to get reflective numbers on the buildings. This is an additional request over time as they've run out of numbers. And by the fire district doing that, it makes it easier for the identification of each of the properties. And that's the good piece associated with this, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Supervisor Ryan. Do you want to make the motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve item 5 as written.
Very good. Thank you, Supervisor Ryan, and for your contribution to the Ponderosa Fire District. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Fowler. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 It
Aye.
passes unanimously. Thank you so much. Item number 7 is consideration of possible action to approve Amendment 4 of the Intergovernmental Agreement D1 21-002282 between Coconino County and the Arizona Department of Economic Security to add work-based learning reimbursement budget funds in the amount of $470,986.18 through September 30th, 2023, and to approve the corresponding budget adjustment with the addition of a 1.0 FTE. County Manager, I'm going to turn this to you, and then I
Yes.
can't remember who asked to remove it, so we'll turn it to them next.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Billy Francis from the Workforce Investment Opportunity Act Board is here with us to present this item.
Very good.
I just had some questions.
Very good. All right, Supervisor Begay, I'm sorry, I couldn't remember who asked to have it withdrawn. So Supervisor Begay, what are your questions? Billy Francis is here to answer.
Okay, Mr. Francis, thank you for coming on. The corresponding budget adjustment with the additional 1 FTE. What is the title, and also is there a budget for this person, and what funds are being used out of that?
Supervisor Begay, great questions. The individual will be a work-based learning specialist.
A what?
A work-based learning specialist. The funding that will be utilized will be the rapid response funding that will be provided from Department of Economic Security for that position.
Billy, can you describe the
There
duties
was-
of the workplace?
There was something that said something like reimbursement. How does that work with DES? In the packet, I was reading something about, you have to request for reimbursement.
Yes, ma'am. So we draw down the funds from DES once they're utilized on our side, and so it's a reimbursement process.
Okay, and then you have a budget to that. Once I see the back end, is that request for like $70,000 additional of the 400 besides the 400,000 that's already there?
Yes, ma'am. The 400,000 will be to serve the businesses, and the
Okay.
70,000 will be for the FTE.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I want to know.
All right, would you consider making the motion, Supervisor Begay?
I make a motion that we approve Amendment 4 of IGA D 121-002282 between Coconino County and Arizona Department of Economic Security to add work-based learning and reimbursement fund budget funds in the amount of $470,986.18 through September 30th, 2023, and approve the corresponding budget adjustments with the addition of the 1 FTE work-based learning specialist.
Very good. Thank you. Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Supervisor Ryan, have you seconded that?
I'll go ahead and second.
Thank you so much. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving Amendment 4 of the intergovernmental agreement as read, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Is our vice chair?
Aye. Did
Thank
you hear me?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
now I do. Thank you.
Okay.
It's unanimous. Let's move on. We have number 8. This is consideration and possible action to appointment of Cheyenne Graybeck to serve on the Indigenous Peoples Advisory Council. This is from District 3 with a term of service ending December 31st, 2026. And this again is from Matt Ryan's district. So I'm going to turn this over to you, Matt.
Thanks, Madam Chair. This is the one I did want to separate and acknowledge Cheyenne. Actually, it gave me a chance to reach out and interview other members of ITAC, those that are from District 3 as well as others, and community members, and really neat opportunity. Cheyenne brings a new generation to the ITAC board. His enthusiasm to come and participate was expressed by everybody. They really like that you're coming on board, your willingness to learn, and so I wanted to provide the opportunity so that everybody could meet Cheyenne as well as acknowledge him as we have this before us, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Supervisor Ryan. And Cheyenne, I see you've joined us, so please take it away.
Thank you. Hello, board. Yate, Che Bilagan Nishla, Ani Buses, Chin Bilagan Das Chiaro, Sitna Jenny Dashnale, Sonsladat Nasha. My name's Cheyenne. I live here in Coconino Village. Been here in Coconino County for about 4 years now. Previously, I was working with Coconino Community College, but I recently started a job with a Native American woman-owned business on helping grants manage their grant portfolios for health and human service grants. And so excited to be an official member of IPAC, and I'm just glad to be here, and thank you all for inviting me today.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us. Any other comments, or, well, I would entertain a motion, Supervisor Ryan.
Madam Chair.
I'm sorry, Supervisor Begay. Yes, please.
Yeah, Cheyenne for willing to be part of the council. So we do need fresh young people that can come over and start taking our positions here, especially me. But I just want to say thank you so much for your interest, and you know, you're doing the right thing, and I'm going to call you my Yash, because you know your son, you're my son, I guess, you know, for now, you know, and as of now. So I just want to say thank you for your interest, and you know, your willingness to be part of this topic here today. Thank you so much.
Oh.
Supervisor Ryan, if there are any other comments, Supervisor Fowler.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we have 3 council committees that are representing the community, and ITech is one of them. And there are other minority populations within our county. And this particular committee here is for Native Americans, so it's really important that we have Native in these positions. So thank you so much for getting involved in your community and getting involved in the just volunteering. That's how I started. I volunteered with my full-time job and just community work prior to my position here. And we still carry those on. So this is a way to learn. So I'm really happy to have you come join the committee and assist the county and bring your learned experience and know-how. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? So I would entertain a motion. Supervisor Ryan, would you like to make the motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the appointment of Cheyenne Graybeck to serve on the Indigenous Peoples Advisory Council from District 3 with a term of service ending December 31st, 2026.
Very good. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Begay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Very good. Cheyenne, thank you for your willingness to
Congratulations.
serve.
Thank you all.
All right, we're moving on number 9. Consideration and possible action to approve a budget amendment in the amount of $140,000 for forest industry economic development. And I'm not sure who asked to have this separated, but Supervisor Ryan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And we just had a presentation on this the other day in budgets, and this is the item that had to do with the designation, getting certification in our region for the forestry industry. That is the piece that I wish to note, Madam Chair, and that's all I had to say about that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Very good. Any other comments? If not, I'd entertain.
Madam Chair.
Supervisor Begay.
Okay, the only thing that I was thinking is, I know that the supervisors set aside dollars. They're going to want to use that 10,000 for match contribution for a grant, and then the only thing that is that it did state on here that there was a staff report that was attached, and there's no staff report. I would like to see that forwarded to the board if possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Supervisor Begay. Any other comments, questions? Or at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve a budget amendment in the amount of $140,000 for Forest
Madam-
Industries Economic Development.
So moved.
Have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second. No.
Second by Supervisor Begay, and all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I think it's unanimous. I think I heard everybody. Number 11, consideration and possible action to approve resolution 2023-13, approving the continuance of Coconino County coverage of volunteers for workers' compensation insurance and salary equivalent for computing compensation benefits and premium payments for volunteers serving Coconino County in fiscal year 2024. So it's a continuation of coverage of volunteers for workers' compensation insurance and salary equivalent. So this is in elections, and I don't know who has to have this separated. But
I did.
Then I'm going to turn this to you, Supervisor Begay, for your questions or comments.
Yeah, I guess basically, how many we're talking about, 300 volunteers per month. And then the fiscal impact. Wait. I had a volunteers compensation. Okay, I have all of that. When we bring stuff to the board like this, I think, you know, it would be nice to have it in a spreadsheet so that it's you can read it easier. And so this one here says fiscal year, the estimated premium under workers compensation is $6,916, and for 5 volunteers and per month deputy volunteers. So I think, you know, I would like to see that broken down as a board member, not just one whole amount and then just putting so many people in there. So I think it's just for salaries, nothing else. It sounds like it's just for benefits and salaries. Insurance for volunteers, how much of that's going to insurance, how much is going to, so that's the only thing that I have that I wanted to request if possible.
Madam Chair,
Yes, County Manager.
we have staff present to respond to the content. Does the board member want us to respond the best we can now, and the next time we submit the item, provide more information? Is that okay? I'm assuming a yes. Okay. Between Essler and Margaret, they can respond to the content of the staff report.
Yes, thank you for your question, Supervisor Begay. So by statute, there is an assigned payroll of $400 per month for a general volunteer, and that is set against the net rate, which is 38 cents per $100 of assigned payroll. So that works out to a premium cost of $1.53 per general volunteer. There is one exception to that, and that is for sheriff reserve officers, for which the last information we have is that there are up to 5 that the sheriff's office can use. And those are deputies that have, even though they're volunteers, they have armament and they have arrest authority. And those are assigned a higher payroll. Their payroll assigned is that of a starting deputy after training, which would be $61,776 per year. And you see that delineated in within the body of the resolution as $5,048, I believe it is, per month. And that comes to a payroll of a premium cost of $19.72 per month for a sheriff reserve volunteer. And to my knowledge, I think they have maybe 1 at present and have not filled all of those. And that's how those calculations have reached the premium impact or fiscal impact for the year.
Thank you for that information, Margaret. Appreciate it. Any other questions, Supervisor Begay?
No, thank you.
Would you like to make the motion to approve resolution 2023-13?
Yes, I make a motion that we approve resolution 2023-13 for replacing and superseding resolution 2022-12, approving the continuance of Coconino County coverage of volunteers for workers' compensation insurance and salary equivalents for computing compensation benefits and premiums payments for volunteers serving Coconino County in FY 2024.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll go ahead and second it.
Second by Supervisor Ryan. All those in favor of approving resolution 2023-13 as read, signify by saying aye.
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 It is,
Aye.
it's unanimous. Thank you. Moving along, we have item number 12. Consideration of possible action to approve resolution 2023-20, approving the appointment of George Ansbach and Craig Vogel to the Junipine Estate Fire District Board of Directors, each for a term to expire December 31st, 2026. And I'm not sure again who asked for this to be removed. Supervisor Ryan.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Another one that didn't really need to be removed. Want to compliment the treasurer and the clerk's office for their work on this. As we heard from the treasurer yesterday, a lot of times we get these volunteers coming in, they don't know how a district runs. They need an elected board to be able to function as a government entity. Clerk's office and treasurer's office did a fantastic job of getting them to take this first step. They have other measures that they need to take in order to correct and provide appropriate information, but you have to have an acting board, and that's what this one's about. So with that, Madam Chair, I'm prepared to make a motion if you'd like.
Very good. I'm ready.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve resolution 20-23-20, appointing George Ansbach and Craig Vogel to the Junipine Estates Fire District Board of Directors, each for a term to expire on December 31, 2026.
Very good. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It is unanimous. So we're going to move on. Number 15 is consideration of possible action to approve an agreement with Roadway Asset Services, LLC, to provide professional engineering services to the county for the Road Maintenance Department's 2023 road resurfacing project in the amount of $173,804. And I'm not sure who, I think this is Supervisor Begay. You asked to have this.
Huh?
removed.
Yes, I do.
It's on the.
It's not that one right there.
That's Vice Chair, you are, yeah, thank you. All right, so yes, please ask your question, Supervisor Begay.
Okay, I just wanted to know, was this a sole source thing that we're doing? And then secondly is, are there any roads that you have in mind? I know the community is probably on and they would probably like to know if anything, but otherwise they haven't been identified. And so anyway, that was my questions. Those were my questions.
Very good. Looks like Christopher Tressler. Good morning, Christopher. Maybe you can answer some of these questions.
Sure. Thank you, Chair Horstman and Supervisor Begay. In a sense, this is a sole source. There's two companies that we evaluated to provide these services, and we've had history with one of them and with limited success. And so the other company was RAS, Roadway Assessment Services, and we've vetted them, and we're excited to pursue this work with them. Then with respect to the second question, what roads is this for? So the county maintains little more than 300 miles of paved road. And so this the service relates to all of the paved roads within Coconino County. They'll drive it with a van and use lasers and other technology to help us develop a pavement condition index that helps inform our pavement preservation and some of our capital improvement projects. And so this work will be conducted over all of the paved roads within Coconino County. Does that help answer your question or question?
Yes, and there is a figure in here that we have to, for 173,804. That's what you're asking for then. Okay,
So this is
that's it. Those are the only two questions. I don't know if anybody else has any questions.
Okay.
Any other questions, or I'd entertain a motion?
Can do a motion. I recommend that approval for the agreement with Roadway Asset Services LLC to provide professional engineering services to the county for the road maintenance department's 2023 road surfacing project in the amount of $173,804.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second the motion.
We have a second by Supervisor Ryan. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It is unanimous. So we have gone through our consent agenda. We have a couple more items. We need to, however, resolve as the Health District Board of Directors. Do I have a motion to resolve as the Health District Board of Directors?
I'll move.
A motion by Supervisor Begay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair. All those in favor of resolving as the Public Health District, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
There is one item on the consent agenda. It's consideration of possible action to approve Health Start Contract Amendment number 3, CTR 050595 between the Arizona Department of Health Services and Coconino County Health and Human Services, acting as the health district to continue home visiting services in the northern region of Coconino County through July 5th, 2024 in the amount of $138,375. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
Madam Chair.
Yeah, to approve the consent agenda. Sorry.
I have a comment.
We have a comment. It's only one item on the consent agenda. I'm going to ask that.
I'll pull my motion back, Madam Chair.
Yeah, thanks Supervisor Ryan. I appreciate it. And I'm going to go ahead and remove item 16 from the consent agenda, and that we have a discussion on this. Supervisor Begay.
Yes, I see that all of these areas that have services in northern Coconino County, I would like to have another possible action to come from Health and Human Services to address the other areas in District 4 that can be added on to, or something similar to this project here. So I know that it does serve the reservation with these chapters are all listed. So I just want to say that. So I'm not sure how we can go about that or if it's doable. I think Kim will be able to answer that.
Madam Chair, I need to have Kim brought over for discussion.
Thank you.
Kim is online now.
Very good. Hi, Kim. Thanks for joining us. There's, I don't know if you heard Supervisor Begay's questions.
I did.
Yes, please.
So yes, thank you, Madam Chair, Board of Supervisors. Supervisor Begay, the Health Start program has some very specific requirements related to geography where that program can be performed by the county. I say that because the Health Start program is also offered through North Country that actually provides services in and around the Flagstaff area. So we have the contract to provide Health Start services up in the far northern region. We have our Healthy Families program, which is not the same program, but it is similar in terms of an in-home program that we do provide in numerous other areas throughout the county and the outside Flagstaff region. But I'm happy to provide you with further information at another time, but this is a specific contract for the region and it is geographically based as per the contract.
Okay, so it's doable. If it's done, this is done, and I think, you know, like I'm saying, there's other districts that we have that are the same kind, the same region, pretty much, you know, as far as nearby region. I think there should be, you know, that can be looked into it. And then also I will look forward to meeting with you individually on this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so we have any other comments, questions? Supervisor Fowler?
Yes, all I wanted to do is just have Kim highlight and just say that this is an important contract. So thank you so much, Kim. It's an ongoing one.
All right, so we have any discussion? We have just any other discussion?
No.
Do we have a motion?
So move. A second.
I didn't move the motion. Was that you, Supervisor Fowler?
I thought we made a motion and then it was seconded and then it was pulled back and now we need a motion. So Lena motion and I second that.
That's what I'm asking Supervisor Begay. Supervisor Fowler, was that your motion?
Okay.
Thank you. She has indicated yes. And Supervisor Begay, you have seconded, correct?
Yes.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the Health Start Contract Amendment number 3, please signify by saying aye.
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 It is unanimous. Members of the Board of Directors, we must now resolve as the Board of Supervisors. Do I have a motion to resolve as the Board of Supervisors?
So move.
We have a motion by Supervisor Begay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair. All those in favor of resolving as the Board of Supervisors signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, now we have to resolve as the Flood Control District Board of Directors. Do I have a motion to resolve as the Flood Control District Board of Directors?
So moved.
I have a motion by Vice Chair. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Supervisor Begay. All those in resolving as the Flood Control District Board of Directors signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Okay, members of the board, we have items on the Flood Control District consent agenda. All matters under consent agenda are to be considered by the board to be routine and enacted by a single motion. If a discussion is desired on any particular consent item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. It's not only written, but it has been my understanding, certainly the practice since I've been here. So are there any items you would like to separate or remove from the consent agenda for individual discussion? Or are we going to enact this through one motion and one vote? Please let me know, members of the board. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
I have a motion by Vice Chair Vasquez. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Supervisor Fowler. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the flood control consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
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 It is unanimous. So have we lost Supervisor Ryan? Did we lose Supervisor Ryan?
He already went to lunch.
Okay, it's unanimous, and I think it's 4-0. And now, members, we need to resolve as the Board of Supervisors. Do I have a motion to resolve as the Board of Supervisors?
So move. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Supervisor Fowler. We have a second by Supervisor Begay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It is aye. It is unanimous. And we are moving on. We need to resolve as the Board of Supervisors. Do I have a motion?
So move.
You have a motion by Supervisor Begay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Geronimo Vasquez. All those in favor of resolving back as the Board of Supervisors, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
I think that all of these times that we've been doing budget for the last week and a half, we're in the country. So motion passes And we are now at the end of our board meeting items. And we are ready to adjourn. And I understand that our budget meetings will start again at 1 o'clock. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, very good. Thank you. We will resolve back during budget. We're adjourned. We will be back for budget here soon. Thank you.